It's a starty party.
Hey, apparently we are live on the interwebs.
Hi, interwebs. It's us. Did you miss us?
Since last week, yeah.
Yeah? Hey, don't tap the mic.
Did I?
No, it says tappa tappa. Is this mic on? You don't tap the mics. Not good for him.
Everybody cash now. Bum, 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 bum. Sorry, we can't do that. Hey, how about if we play some other music?
That isn't licensed?
Well, licensed by me.
There you go. Some music we can legally play without having to pay anybody.
And start this podcast thing we've got going. Here we go.
Let's do it.
You found us once again. Here we are on Thursday night, as we are every Thursday night. Welcome to Caching in the Northwest. It's the only podcast dedicated to geocaching in the great Pacific Northwest. We're going to talk about caches and cachers unique to this little corner of the country. So stare deeply into the monitor as we show you a secret. It's time to go caching in the Northwest. But, you know, we can't do that without bringing in our masticating monkey. Some say he's ordered pizza to be delivered at a first to find. And others says he knows how to grill a steak without cutting into it and seeing if it's cooked. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
He is called Land Monkey. He is an expert at cooking steaks. And have I ever ordered a pizza to be delivered for a first to find?
I figured you ordered the pizza and then went out and actually made the first to find and had the pizza delivered.
It'd be a nice social thing to do, wouldn't it?
I thought you did it on your own.
Yeah, I like that. Well, because, you know, often there's first to find parties, so that's kind of fun.
Yeah. I just heard today, next time you order a pizza, ask it to be cut up into party squares. Party squares, because then the people that are cooking your pizza have no idea you're eating it alone at home and crying. But anyway.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So did you do that with a square pizza or a round pizza?
A round pizza.
So they are not equal squares.
Well.
So some party a little more than others.
Party is equal.
Well, I guess it depends on your party. Anyhow,
Donner
listeners,
party.
we want to thank you guys for coming back once again, even though, you know, we do this every week and you keep coming back. So sorry about your luck. However, the astute among you, and we know that's all of our listeners, you may have noticed that we are endless tonight. We're witless tonight.
We're wit endless.
We're wits endless, but we shall press on. He is otherwise occupied tonight. We actually were just speaking with him just moments ago. And
there is a slight chance he could join us for the after show.
That's true, depending upon how things go for him this evening. Good point.
But before we jump into that, and before we jump into the after show, we actually have to do the show. It's not the pre-show. It's the pre-after show.
Also known as the show.
Got it. But in order to do the show, we need to thank our Denali level supporters. That's Limax and the Mount Vernon Parks and Recs department. If you want to know more about supporting the show, just click on that Patreon link on the CachingNW.com website. Now, tonight, we are doing something that we've had a lot of people ask us to do.
Do tell. What have people asked us to do?
It's a bit of lifting the curtain, looking behind the curtain, going backstage, if you will, and showing our what's going on behind us in our studios.
Not much.
Yeah, there's nothing going on back here. But
kind of needs a lot of work back there, actually. Anyways.
But before we get going,
yes,
let's start glowing.
That's right. And as always, we are calling this segment GLOW, GLOW, or the geocaching log of the week. So once again, thank you to Dora Moore, the founder of GLOW. And folks, whether you wrote it or not, we want to hear about it. So send an email to feedback@cachingnw.com, call it in, share the GLOW in your very own voice to 253-693-TFTC, or be super high tech about it and use the voicemail tool on our website. And show us, dear geocachers, how you glow.
Tonight's glow comes from friends of the show, Buddy and Kitsy Meow.
Oh, Buddy and Kitsy
See them at an event, they will always take a picture. They take a picture of themselves at every geocache they find, and also at every event. And there's several with me photobombing them. That's just kind of my thing now. So
that's a lot of pictures.
Yeah, they take a lot of pictures. I'm not in all of them. But as soon as I see them lining up, I get in there. Okay.
There you go.
This log comes from Buddy and Kitsy Meow, as we said. It is GC Beta Gamma Whiskey Alpha. Did I say 6? GC 6 Beta Gamma Whiskey Alpha? Because I got so excited about doing
when you got the phonetic alphabet right. I'm okay if you dropped a number here.
Okay.
Or there.
It's called Twist and Shout. As soon as we saw this Team Noltex cache post, we knew it was the one we wanted to find for our 1-year geo anniversary, and it did not disappoint. We raced off to find the cache as soon as work was over and found the trailhead with no problem. After a short walk down the path, we came upon the gadget cache we had been seeking. We found the cache, pulled out the tool, and began to twist. After about 10 tries, we were ready to shout, when all of a sudden, Team Noltex magically appeared out of nowhere to save the day. And I have to do as a side note, they know when people are looking for their cache. I don't know how, but they do. And, sorry, Beta Golf. Apparently I didn't do the phonetic alphabet right. People in the chat are talking about it. Okay. So Team Noltex magically appeared out of nowhere to save the day. They watched and laughed until we were finally able to make the grab and sign the log. You can always count on Team Noltex for quality caches, and this one gets a fave point from us. We'd give 2 if we could. Many thanks for the great cache and the memories and the smileys. And they went on to list what they've done in their first year of caching. They found Geocache, the oldest cache in Washington. They found Beverly, the oldest cache in Illinois. They completed the HQ Geo Tour, completed the Geocaching Road Trip 2015, completed Mission 9 Tunnel of Light Reclaimed, completed the Auburn Geocaching Adventure 2015, found caches in 5 states, 24 caches in 24 hours, found caches on 261 consecutive days, attended the last block party, hosted the Good Friends, Good Brew, and Goodbye 2015 event, made 5 first to finds, earned 21 souvenirs, logged 715 caches, and logged, are you ready for this? 1,870 trackables.
That's a lot of trackables.
They met countless great cachers like Team Noltex, Oh Joy, Wits End, The Bad Cop, Cache and Scary, You Talks to Rocks. Sorry, it's easy to read, easy to look at, harder to read out loud. Datu Swedes, and many others who make this game great. All because Buddy told Kitsy a story of people who use multi-million-dollar GPS system to find Tupperware containers in the woods, and Kitsy said, I want to do that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, hey, thank you very much, Buddy and Kitsy Meow, for the great glow. We appreciate that. That is awesome. And moving along, let's start talking about some news. We've got a whole ton. We have a metric buttload of news for you guys tonight.
And we have some other metric things, but okay.
We do, and we'll get to that. But let's start with a story about International Earth Cache Day.
Oh, one of your favorites.
You know what? So here we go. Earth caches are indeed my favorite type of cache. The fact that International Earth Cache Day is always on the Canadian Thanksgiving weekend is not one of my favorites. But we work with it. So October 9th, you can earn a new souvenir by learning more about the Earth, aka geocaching's game board. All you have to do is go out and find an Earth cache on International Earth Cache Day, which is why it's always important to not find all the Earth caches within a 50-kilometer radius of where you live, because you will run out and then you'll have to do a really long drive just to find an Earth cache. Anyways,
Thanksgiving or on Canadian Thanksgiving.
That's right, because you probably are supposed to be visiting with family that day if you're in Canada. If you're in America, you can do whatever you want. And you probably will anyways, because you're American.
Well, yeah, and besides, most of us are married and we can't do whatever we want.
Too true. All right. So getting back to the story. So you've got my little piece of advice there. Do with it as you please. But hey, remember, Earth caches don't have physical containers. Instead, they will bring you to a unique location and teach you a geological science lesson, which is why I love Earth caches. Now remember to go out on October 9th, earn a new souvenir, find an Earth cache, have a great adventure. There you go. That's all I have to tell you. Go do it.
Love it. If finding an Earth cache isn't enough,
yes,
the Olympic Peninsula Tourism Commission, that's the OPTC, is going to launch a geotour. The Highway 101 Scenic Byway Loop geotour will offer another way to enjoy the Olympic Peninsula. The Olympic Peninsula Tourism Commission, the OPTC. I think that's easier to say than the words it represents. And its partners will place 30 geocaches from Brennan to Marrowstone Island to Nia Bay to La Push and Quinault. Caches along the Highway 101 Scenic Byway Loop Geotour will be released during a kickoff from 7:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. September.
Man, that is a mouthful.
Oh, I'm telling you. It didn't seem that bad when I cut and pasted in here. So from 7:30 to 10, September 24th at the Clallam County Fairgrounds in Port Angeles. Passports, prizes, and giveaways will be available. An informal no-host gathering. See how informal it is? There's no host. For geocachers will be held the evening before from 5:30 to 8:30. That's September 23rd at the banquet room at the Fanaticus. Thank you. Fanaticus Sports Grill, also in Port Angeles.
I'm Fanaticus. And now everybody's supposed to say that they're Fanaticus.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Never mind.
Okay.
Moving along.
Whew. These are tough words in this story. I should have given it to you.
I'm really glad that you took this one.
Each hidden cache will contain a color stamp and a word that participants will record in a passport, which will be downloadable at the Olympic Peninsula Geotour.com beginning September 12th. So that's just a couple days away.
Yeah.
When the passport contains all the 30 code words and stamps, participants can redeem it for a trackable geocoin. Now, a grand prize winner will be announced January 4th. The grand prize will contain overnight lodging and other extras for a return trip to the Olympic Peninsula to do more geocaching, plus the trackable geocoin. Details of the grand prizes will be announced at the kickoff event. So
awesome.
What we need is more geotours.
Yes. No one is going to complain that there are more geotours, more opportunities to earn coins. And hey, that's a pretty good prize package. They're doing a really nice job there. That's awesome.
They really are. I do have to say, Wet Coaster says that International Earth Cache Day is Land Monkey's observed birthday as opposed to his actual birthday. Just like Queen Elizabeth, who has an observed birthday and an actual birthday.
That's awesome. And yeah, I could go with that. The amusing thing is that International Earth Cache Day is often on my daughter's actual birthday, which is almost exactly a month away from my birthday. So yeah, we could do that. We could roll with that.
Coming up this week, is it not?
Yeah, it's coming up
in a couple of hours.
It is almost upon me. But I'm not 50 yet, so I got another few years before.
Don't expect an event to be held for your birthday until you turn 50.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, what?
It all started with Die Monkey.
Well, I do expect an event to be held when I turn 50.
Oh, you better believe it.
But here's the thing. It wouldn't make sense for you guys to bring me Timbits. But you got a few years to work it out.
We'll bring you something else. Why? You don't like Timbits?
No, but Timbits are from Canada, and I bring them for my friends' 50th birthdays. I bring a 50 pack of Timbits.
We'll bring you 50 pieces of lutefisk.
As long as I don't have to eat 50 pieces of lutefisk.
Oh, yeah, you do.
No. Then, yeah, that's not going to work out too well. All right. Anyways, where were we? Hey, you know what? We had another news story here from Facebook. And on Facebook, we heard that it is time to mark our calendars for September 16th. It will be the launch of Series 4. Series 4 of the Visit Rainier Centennial Geo Tour. So that's the last phase, right? That's awesome. It'll all be out September 16th. This series completes, there we go. I'm jumping ahead. This series completes the Geo Tour, which features 100 caches to celebrate 100 years of the National Park Service. And this year is the 100th anniversary. This is the 100 year of the National Park Service, which was kind of cool for us when we were up in Glacier Bay National Park in Alaska for the 100th anniversary. Anyways, besides the new path tag for Series 4, remember each series you can earn a path tag. So that's 4 path tags you can earn. The commemorative trackable geocoin will become available for those who complete all 100 caches and turn in their 4 passports. Wow, that is a feat. Because I would imagine those caches are not all just 160 meters apart from each other.
No. And they are all around Mount Rainier. So I'm sure with, all 4 of them out there, people, I've got at least one earth cache on that. And they're saying, hey, it took us 2 days to get around the mountain to get all the caches. And I can imagine with all 4 series out that it's not something you can do in a day.
All right, my friend, you live much more proximate to Mount Rainier than I do. So given that we're into September, how many months of actual decent weather are you going to have where you can still go and find these caches?
You can find some of them year round.
Okay.
And then there are others on roads, like Forest Service roads, that will be shut down once the snow comes in. So it's never a fixed date. They don't say on, October 25th, we're shutting down the roads. It's whenever the snow comes in and, So I would say November-ish. You're going to have trouble getting all 100 of them.
All right. So it gives a couple of months still to work on that. That's cool. Very cool. Well, that is awesome. And, guys, everybody who's contributed to that Visit Rainier Centennial Geo Tour, nice work. And I am really looking forward to at some point in the near future when I can get down there and work on that Geo Tour. That is so cool. And now also the Olympic Peninsula one. There's just so many reasons to explore the amazing Northwest.
Exactly. And I think geotours are a great way to bring business into an area. I mean, geocachers are going to do it for, the price of a coin, which you can get manufactured $10 to $15 each. You're bringing in 2, 3, 4 geocachers per carload to come in. They're going to spend money in your towns and in your area, at least if nothing else, for gasoline.
Yeah.
But they're going to eat. They're going to visit the shops and possibly hotels. So I think it's a great way to bring people in. And
Absolutely.
It's year round. We're not bringing them in for one event for one weekend and then saying goodbye. So
that is true.
Brylang in the Q&A says, I just found 30 earth caches on my just ended 10-day road trip. # geocache road trip.
Nice. Very nice. Yes, I actually, on a Facebook chat, I had heard that earlier today, and I must say publicly, congratulations, Bryling. That is quite the feat. And even a larger feat, like size 13, 14, is logging 30 earth caches. So we will see Brylang sometime in the spring when he finishes logging all his Earth caches.
Good point.
That's awesome, though.
Limax says I should bring you 50 Starbucks lattes.
You could.
You have to, they're all going to be warm, so you're going to have to drink them quickly.
Yeah, I think
and then
I'd
you
be
can go do
bouncing off
30
the
Earth
walls.
caches.
Yeah, 50
in one day.
Yeah, I don't think I could actually physically drink 50 lattes in one day unless they're like little shooter lattes.
Oh, you could. Just lay down, open your mouth. We'll take care of the rest.
All right, that's what friends are for.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to let you know.
Yes.
Was it last week or the week before that the abbreviation FTAS, it's for the after show. If you want to put something in the Q&A to talk about later, start it off with FTAS.
Is that a hashtag? Because it should be.
It doesn't have to be because it's in the Q&A. But if you stick FTAS, we'll look at it and
we'll know.
We'll do it later. Now, another thing that's happening.
More news.
Guess what? Somebody else turns 50 this year.
Who?
It's you. Surprise. Oh, wait. No.
I would definitely be surprised, and so would my mom.
The Washington Trails Association turns 50.
Wow.
And they ask that you celebrate with them September 17th at the Snoqualmie Point Park. Join fellow hikers for a fun day of outdoor activities. Try a new outdoor activity. Compete in a scavenger hunt, scout out new gear, or just relax in a beer garden with friends. And plan your next adventure. Stop by anytime between noon and 6. There is a $15 ticket required for this event, and they're going to have a geocaching treasure hunt. You hunt for clues, you win prizes. There are millions of geocaches around the world, just in case you didn't know. Just waiting for you to find them. Join the fun at WTA at 50 with a unique geocaching game designed just for this event. The first 100 people to complete the activity will win a prize from our vendors. Do you want free tickets?
Yes.
They're looking for volunteers. Get more info at WTA.org/50. And I have been in chats. I have been in communication with the WTA, and I believe they're going to be on next week with us to talk about this great event.
That would be very cool. I really hope that they're able to make it. I think that would make a great show.
Mm-hmm.
And a thought occurred to me as you were sharing that story. So if I'm understanding the math correctly, technically you are older than the trails in Washington State.
Yes, I'm older than dirt.
Yes, that's where I was going. All right.
Boy.
I'm feeling better about myself as the show keeps going on. This is excellent. All right, my old friend.
It must be so nice to be so young and inexperienced.
Yes, and naive and energetic. All right.
What
Well,
you're
hey,
talking about.
Speaking of naive and energetic, let's share some news from geocaching.com and the new Geocachinger app, the young, enthusiastic application from geocaching.com, as I try and dig myself out of that one. All right. Well, hey, we had a press release that came out. It's also been shared today on the geocaching blog. So some of you may have already seen this. Some of you may have not. So it might be breaking news. It might not be, but we're going to share it with you regardless because we thought it was interesting news. So email we received today from our good friend, Chris Ronan, also known as Rock Chalk. He said, in the blog post, we give the community an update about the development of the free Geocachinger app and the status of the Geocaching Classic app. Summarized down, the blog actually goes into much more detail, but we'll boil it down to the key points here. They had originally planned to shut off the Geocaching Classic app in September. That would be now. However, since the Geocachinger app is still missing some of the most requested features, the Classic app will function into next year. End date yet to be determined. Now, what are those features? Well, those are offline and trail maps, additional log types, draft logs, and favorite points. So they are working. Yes, go ahead.
May I add, we need souvenirs.
There you go. I didn't see that on the list.
I didn't either.
let's make sure we do add that. All right. Well, they are working hard to complete these features in the Geocachinger app by March 2017. But until they get there, the Geocaching Classic app should continue to function. I was a little nervous by the fact they used the word should, but that's okay.
Yeah. We talked about this in GeoGearheads as well. And
Okay.
Daryl's convinced that there are different sets of servers for each app. So it's expensive to keep those two sets of servers running, one for the classic, one for the
Yeah.
That's the difference, right? So that I hadn't thought about that, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yep, that does make a lot of sense. And the last bullet point in the article we have is that they cannot make updates or bug fixes to the Geocaching Classic app since it's no longer available in Google Play or Apple's App Store. So if you have the Geocaching Classic app currently, bully for you. If you don't worry about it because you can't get it. So you'll need to use the Geocachinger app and be patient, or find some other alternative.
Or not.
Or not, yes. The story does continue to say, we know the community is passionate about our apps. I would say the community is very passionate about their geocaching apps, and they want to be open about where they stand with the free apps development and the status of the classic app. So you know what? I think good for them that they've come forward and been open and forthright about what they're doing, what their plans are, and given us as exact timelines as I think are reasonable, given the amount of work ahead of them. So, good for geocaching.com for doing that. That's you're putting yourself out there because not all the feedback's going to be constructive.
Right. But at least they're laying a timeline so that we can understand what they're doing. It's not just like, oh, by the way, the old app's done. Bye.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Sure. Yeah.
Now here you know why.
Now you know why. So again, I was just going to throw it there again to remind everybody, you can read about it on the geocaching blog, the official blog of geocaching.com. And you know what? If you guys have any questions or comments or feedback about this, send it in to us. Let's talk about it on the show, and we will send it on behalf of the show to Rock Chalk. And we always look forward to opportunities to drag him out onto this show because it's so much fun.
And somewhat embarrassing for him.
Yes. Well, I mean, that's the main reason. That's why it's fun for us.
Oh, yeah. Fun for us. Yeah. Brylang says the old app should continue to function unless updates to iOS or Android break it.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And Limac says the only thing missing on that list is a latte. He wants the app to be able to give him a latte.
Like an integration into the Starbucks app.
Oh, there you go.
Did you know? Okay, so rabbit trail, but I thought this was interesting. I just learned this week anyways, that Starbucks has written an integration into Outlook. You can now, there is an applet that plugs in to Outlook that allows you to do two main things that they advertise. One is when you're creating a meeting in Outlook, you can actually now choose Starbucks as a location for your meeting, and it actually brings up a little menu to allow you to pick which Starbucks you want to use, and then inserts the address and map for that Starbucks into your meeting invite. And then the other thing that lets you
place an order.
Well, what it lets you do is to actually through Outlook attach effectively like a coupon for a free Starbucks something to whoever you're sending an email to. So if somebody did a great job on your project, you say, oh, hey, I want to send you a free coffee. You can actually tickety tick, click, and it's all done like that. So I thought, smart for them.
Tickety click.
I believe that's what I said.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Okay, yeah, that's how it works.
I couldn't believe you used those combination of words and letters.
Well, isn't that what it sounds like when you do things on the computer? Or
Moving on. I have a quiet keyboard. It's like mushity click.
Okay. That's the difference.
No, I like the old mechanical keyboards, to be honest with you.
Yep.
The old IBM clackers. That's what it sounds like.
So do gamers.
Yeah.
they're actually selling, they're manufacturing and selling mechanical weighted keys again now.
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, more stories. Tell us more stories.
There's another story. This is not geocaching related, but I found it absolutely fascinating. I'm not going to give you the subject line. I'm just going to break into the story and let you develop a mental picture. Temperatures in Seattle are supposed to peak in the 70s on Friday, but anyone seeking a rapid cool down can go to Occidental Square and hug a 10-ton ice cube plopped on the ground. The frigid installation, made by local architects Olson Kundig, will appear on Friday and quietly melt in the following days for the Seattle Design Festival. Though a similar artwork of glacier ice graced last year's climate summit in Paris, the message here is not explicitly global warming. Rather, it's about the never-ceasing migration of water from land to sea and back again. The architects write, Ice Cube, a temporary installation designed by Olson Kundig, showcases the stages of the natural water cycle as the ice shifts from opaque to translucent. As the 10-ton ice cube evaporates and melts, it offers a cool respite to visitors and scatters ambient sunlight and colors throughout the park. The pure form of the cube will gradually erode in the summer sun, marking the passage of time as its waters slowly return to the sea. I mean, I look at this and go, how long is this thing going to last? It's huge.
Oh man, sorry. I start laughing partway through you reading the story just because whoever wrote this press release, people are funny.
Yeah, I mean, sometime next month, are they going to trip over it, when it's the size of a shoebox?
Well, I love the fact that it's going to quietly melt, as opposed to most ice, which screams and thrashes as it melts.
What
like
happens
the
if a
witch
huge
from the
piece
Wizard
of it
of Oz
calves off and falls into the street?
Well, speaking of huge, I think the first thing that went through my mind when you shared this story with me before the show was, okay, how big is this? I mean, we know the weight, 10 tons. So how physically big is that? And so I did a little bit of math, and my guess, a rough estimation, is that it's in and around 10 meters cubed. So, and I think we had a little bit of discussion before the show on how
10 meters cubed, 33 feet for us in the States.
Yeah. I mean, now I may be off in my math there as well, but
Limac says incredible. He was also thinking of calving ice. Calving. Yeah, calving. Yep. I was trying to put the L in there.
You don't need to.
I don't know why.
So are they making this out of salt water?
I don't know. It says a similar artwork of glacier ice. Is it glacier? Is it, and how do you move this thing?
Yeah. Well, also the fact that they talk about the never ceasing migration of water from land to sea and back again. Well, if it's a never ceasing migration of water to land to sea, are you talking about snow and rainwater and hail?
Oh, hail, no.
Yeah. Anyways,
but the rest of it, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, hail, no. Anyways, yeah. I just got a kick out of the
description,
artful language. Yes, that's used to describe the whole thing. But
sunlight and colors throughout the park.
Yes, and the pure form of the cube will gradually erode in the summer sun. It won't melt. It'll erode.
So rain, that heat transfer through water is very effective. So as it rains, it will melt quickly. But
there you go.
I don't know that I may just drive up just to see it.
I think I want to see some photos and or video of this anyways. I think that's going to be interesting. Yeah. So where is Occidental Square? Obviously in Seattle, but whereabouts in Seattle?
I don't exactly know Occidental Square.
Okay.
All
right.
But when you go there, take some antioxidants with you.
Will that help with the ice?
Yeah, I think it should. Yeah. Sorry, I just tossed that in.
No problem.
Yeah, Limax wants to know, is it an erratic?
Well, there's something erratic about this, that's for sure.
It got placed there somehow.
That's right. Probably not deposited by a glacier.
Yeah.
All right. Well, my friend, at this point in the show, actually usually earlier than this point in the show, but today at this point in the show, I'm going to ask you how your past week in geocaching has been.
Well, I have to say I haven't done a lot of geocaching this week. My son is into Pokemon Go, so thus I'm into Pokemon Go because I enjoy spending time with my son. I went to a park at Des Moines Marina, and Des Moines is how it should be pronounced. People here tend to put the S on it, and I don't like that. And there had to be 250 people there playing Pokemon. It was just outrageous.
All just playing Pokemon Go.
For the most part, there were a couple of people walking around going, what is going on? And yeah, the park, the city doesn't know how to deal with it. They're like, there's so many people in our park. What do we do? It's okay. But anyway, it's an interesting dilemma. Now, what about you? Have you been geocaching this week?
So a little bit. I'll have to share with our listeners that those who have listened to the show for a while, or those who follow our YouTube videos and such, they're familiar with our dog Piggy, and he's not doing well right now. So we're actually spending a little more time looking after him and a little less getting out on big geocaching adventures since we got back from our cruise. But we did get in a nice little walk in the past week. We did a little walk in White Rock. Found some newer geocaches placed out there, and did a nice walk along the west side of the Pitt River on a sunny day on the weekend. So that was nice. It's a beautiful area to be, and it was it was just a nice time out. But yeah, our geocaching is not as active as it has been, sadly.
I can understand that.
Yeah. But while we're speaking about geocaching, and of course the Alaskan geocaching cruise, #geocache road trip that we were on very recently, we want to remind everybody, all you listeners, that in 2 weeks we are going to have the Land Sharks on the show, and it is going to be the deadline for those who are interested in winning a prize. We have a contest going on with the Land Sharks. You have 2 weeks to email us with the name of one of the ports on the 2017 Land Sharks geocaching cruise. The answer can be found at travel.landsharks.ca. The prizes are the limited edition Alaskan Cruise Geocoin and TB tags. So remember, September 22nd, Ellen and Chris from the Land Sharks are going to be on the show. They're going to be discussing the Alaskan cruise, and they're going to select the random winner from the entries. So email us your answer before 9 p.m. Pacific time, September 21st. That would be the Wednesday, to be entered to win these amazing prizes. And if you want to know what those prizes look like, I believe you can check landsharks.ca, check their website for it, or after this show, watch the Land Monkey social media channels, and we will post photos of what those coins look like. So you can win your very, very own.
Good deal. Boy, yes. I had something that was very poignant and interesting to say, and it's just gone. That's what happens when you get old. I know exactly
when you're older than dirt.
Yes. At least in Washington State.
Yes.
We already have a couple of entries for that. So
excellent.
I want to let people know, hey, you got to get these entries in. You're not guaranteed to win anymore. So,
yep.
Brightlang wants to know what's the email address to enter the contest? That would simply be feedback@cashingnw.com.
There you go.
So email that to feedback@cashingnw.com. As we started off the show saying, we have many people who've asked us about some of the items in our studio. So tonight we thought we'd give you just a little behind the scenes of a couple of the items of swag that we have around here that are meaningful to us.
All right. Well, my friend, why don't you start? Pick something there that is meaningful to you.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up this camera.
Ooh.
And I'm going to move it. Look at this.
Oh, my goodness.
Whoa. This is more of Chris of the Northwest than you ever wanted to see. Okay. Back here, you'll see these are my my special geo coins. You can see I've got a Pi coin here.
Very nice.
I've got the Auburn Geocaching Adventure 2015 coin here. I got a Lackey coin. I have this one is somewhat special. This is the Lackey coin signed by Jeremy and Brian.
Very cool.
And
it's quite the collection you've got there, my friend.
Yes, we've got a series of events here once a year called Cache Wars. So that's a cool looking coin.
That is a very cool coin.
What else do we have? We've got the this is actually a trackable dragon. So if you let's see, will it focus on it so you guys can go ahead and log that?
Yeah, I think it's just upside down. Yeah. Is that from coinsandpins.com?
It is from coinsandpins.com. So there you
Very
go.
Cool.
Coinsandpins.com. Love you guys. And of course, I've got a huge selection of path tags. This one seems interesting.
Oh, what's that?
Let's see. I can't hold it properly. There we go. Do you recognize that one?
I do recognize that one.
Yeah, it's hard to get it to focus on a.
Do you know that those are basically gone? They've all been given out now?
Really? It glows in the dark.
They do.
It's interesting because after I leave here, I shut off all the lights, and that thing glows at me, thinking I've left something on. Obviously, there's a green light on somewhere.
My cunning plan worked.
Got some swag back here. Different Geo Woodstock lanyards.
That's cool.
And such. So, Antaeus sent me actually handed to me at a block party, the TARDIS here.
That's
3D
neat.
printed. And he okay.
I think you and Daryl both have one of those, don't you?
Antaeus, don't watch this. He gave me this one originally. This 3D printed TARDIS with a container on the bottom to be sent out as a geocache. And I said, no, too cool. He says, well, here, I'll print you this so you can put the other one out. I didn't do it.
Chris of the Northwest.
I know. I've got a couple of log sheets here from events. This one was from my birthday event. This was from the Mount Vernon event that we did.
Very cool.
So, just a few things, and of course, my my body double over here.
Yes, the original bad cop.
I was able to find a couple of Coke bottles there with my name on it.
Well, fortunately, your name is not that unique. That makes that a doable thing.
So,
is that a pair of skis?
Yes. It is a pair of skis, and the pole's right there.
I did not know you were a skier.
I'm not.
Oh, that's why they're in the studio.
That's why okay. There we go. We're back to the normal world again.
Here we are.
Several years ago, I got tired with the setup that I had back there, and I went and found a couple of pallets and made these display shelves behind me. And ever since I did that, I always look for odd and quirky things to put on there. Like the old school blowtorch here, and this meter of some sort, which I really have no idea what it does, but it looks cool. An odd spotlight. It's a par can, but it doesn't work, but it looks cool up there. Well, I was driving along in my neighborhood, and these skis were out on somebody's lawn to be given away, and I thought, skis. I could do something with skis. So I just added them, thinking it's very Northwest. It
is. It is definitely very Northwest.
And I thought right next to the saw was the best place to have skis. Now that's a real working saw, or it was at one time.
That is very cool.
I don't know if I'm man enough to wield such as actually use it. If that's not big enough, I do have it's got to be 6 foot, 2-person saw with that aggressive
very cool.
or more of teeth on that. So, back when real men used to cut down trees.
I've actually used one like that with somebody else, and I can't remember where we were, but it was some sort of exhibition or demonstration of those saws, and they had a log up on sawhorses and one of those saws, and you would pair up with somebody else and try cutting through it. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. I have a couple of a couple of tree rounds that a neighbor cut, and again, put it out for free, and I'm like, oh, those would look really good on my deck. And I, took all the effort to get them here. I thought, I have a hand truck. I'll just put it on a hand truck and roll it over to my house. It's, half a block away. Well, they've got to be 300 pounds each.
Oh my goodness.
And the hand truck, it was just an incredible amount of work. I had to go up and down a curb. And then, of course, I live on a slight hill. It's probably, 3 feet tall. I worked that thing up there, and my son came with me. He rolled his. Just simply, and it rolled so much easier than it did on the hand truck. I thought wheels, well, use mechanical advantage. No. Anyway, those were not cut even. So, they're sitting on my deck and the top's at an angle. And I'm thinking, I've got a saw like that. If I take and, could I cut through that? They've got to be 2 foot, 3 foot in diameter. They're huge.
Oh, so, that's crazy.
But Brian Lang wants to know, and it's for the after show, but we'll say it now. Why is there a saw on the wall? Because I am in the basement of what used to be my in-laws' house, and I purchased it from the in-laws and let my mother-in-law live here until she passed. And my father-in-law was kind of a jack of all trades. And so the tools in here are utterly amazing. I mean, yes, there's a camera, old movie camera right here. He was into photography. He was into electronics. We've got tools to do woodworking. We've got things that I look at this and go, I'm not even sure what this tool does. And I take it to people where they go, is it important? Yeah, that's really expensive. I'd hold on to that. Okay.
That's very cool. Very cool.
So there's
some interesting stuff.
It's just gitchy. It's just something behind me. The Washington State, I decided I did that with a projector, took a map of Washington State, projected it onto wood, traced it out, and I wanted to see what I could do with a jigsaw.
Well done.
I thought maybe I should do the rest of the Northwest.
I see the Olympic Peninsula on there. There's a geo tour there now.
Oh, yes. Right up here.
That's right. Yeah. That's funny. There's a geo tour that's really hard to say right there.
Oh man. What is that? What are the initials again?
I don't know. You have to scroll back up through the show notes.
OPTC. That's the Olympic Peninsula Tourism Commission. Geotour.
Excellent.
What about you, Mr. Monkey? First of all, tell us where in your house you are.
So I am also in the downstairs. So our house is one of those houses where you sort of come in on the ground level, and the yard goes up in the back. So the back part of the house is actually mostly underground and ... Every once in a while, people walk behind me because I am in the back part of the rec room, and my son's bedroom is further into the house. So there's often family members moving back and forth through there. So there you go. That's kind of exciting. So we're back here, and people have observed before about the piano that's back here. I'm pointing at it there, and that sits in behind me.
Do you play?
Yeah, yeah. Most of the family members do play a little bit. So yeah, that's kind of fun. So yeah, we've got a few things back here. Um, One of the key things is the big banner that has recently gone up on the wall. That was a gift from my co-hosts. It's a banner we used it at um, the block party. I think the first block party I came down for as a co-host.
That seems about right. It might have been the very first block party I got that for. Maybe the second.
Okay.
I can't recall.
All right. So yeah, so we do have that. And then I have of course, the Canadian flag hanging here. And obviously I'm very proud to be Canadian, and et cetera, et cetera. But that particular Canadian flag has a certain amount of significance. That is the Canadian flag that hung in my office on the Olympic venue in the 2010 Winter Games. When I worked at the 2010 Winter Games, I worked in the freestyle ski and snowboard venue, and that was a flag that I had hanging in my office at the time. So that is kind of a cool flag. I like that one. So I've got that one hanging up there. Just always reminds me of fun times there. And then, of course, would not be complete without a collection of monkeys.
You are a collection of monkeys.
My family is a collection of monkeys. I do have the infamous 100th episode monkey. So this is Land Monkey. The resemblance is shocking.
It actually is. There it is.
There we go. And so we've got that. I also have things falling on the ground. I also have another little stuffed monkey that I keep around in the studio. This little monkey has come out on a few little adventures with me every once in a while. And this is the stuffed monkey that is known as Dwight. And anyone who has cached up in this area and kind of knows us, or at least knows a few of our geocaches, will be familiar with a particular puzzle cache we put out called Monkey Puzzle Tree. And Monkey Puzzle Tree is all about Dwight, the puzzling monkey. So that's Dwight. Dwight hangs out in the studio when he's not out making trouble. What else have I got going on here? Other than that, just a few little knickknacks. Oh, this I always keep down in the office. This is a geocaching.com Stein that I bought from Geocaching HQ when I went down a couple of years ago. It's about a couple of years ago, and I went down and had a private tour of the offices and met John, mountain bike, met Ben and Jamie, met Holly, met a whole bunch of neat, cool people down there, and had a fantastic tour. And so I like keeping that Stein on my desk. I almost called it a mug, that Stein on my desk, because it just reminds me of that. So yeah, it's kind of fun. So that's about it. It's sort of the highlights of what's here in this studio. Oh, wait a minute. I forgot one thing.
Wait 1 minute. Brylang says, Dwight spent some time sitting on my desk. Fortunately, he wasn't able to get my password for my computer.
He will try. He will try. Yeah, Dwight's been around a little bit. There's backstory to that. We'll have to talk about that. If we do a show about creating puzzle caches, I can share some of my experiences around that. But the other thing I have on my desk, I'll just hold it up to the camera. It's you might look at that and go, yeah, it's a $1 coin, big whoop. Everybody in Canada has a bunch of those in their pockets. Well, this $1 coin, or as we affectionately refer to them, loonies, is one of the ones that we buried at the finish lines on my Olympic venue. So this is an official Olympic, and it's got the it is a 2010 minted loonie with the Inukshuk and the Vancouver 2010 Olympic design on it. It's probably going to be impossible to actually see that on the camera, but
so you're gonna have to back it off a little more.
Yeah,
a little more than that, I think. There, it's getting better.
Yeah. Anyways,
wow.
So this is actually on my desk, and this is one of the coins from that. And the other thing, it's not on my desk.
Okay, so let's back up there.
Yeah.
Is that tradition to bury coins at the finish line?
So, yes, every Canadian listening to this podcast is just rolling their eyes at you right now because we all know that it is a Canadian tradition to, particularly in ice hockey surfaces, to sneak and hide a loonie underneath the ice surface, usually in and around the center line. And it's a good luck thing for us Canadians, particularly in the Winter Olympics, but in a lot of other tournaments as well. And during the 2010 Winter Games, any finish area that we had loonies buried in there. And so that one is the one from, that one is actually from the, what was that from? That was from Ski Cross. That one was from the Ski Cross event.
And I apologize if I've offended any Canadians because I didn't know this fact.
I don't think anybody's offended.
Are they sneaking in these loonies on any event they can, not just on Canadian soil or snow, but anywhere around the world?
I am not going to answer that question.
Okay. Oh, never mind then.
If you're a Canadian, you know the answer to that question. If you're not a Canadian, you don't want to know the answer to that question.
I'm not a Canadian.
But yes, we love our winter sports, and we have a lot of fun with them. So yeah, so that's, and then the other thing is I don't actually have it on this desk. It's on my work desk upstairs in my actual office. And I have a piece of the timing cable from the Moguls. The Moguls run where Canada won our first ever home soil gold medal. I have a chunk of the timing cable from that event. So that's pretty nice. Cool. Yeah. So yeah, I'm big into winter sports. So I don't have skis hanging on the back wall because my skis and my snowshoes are in the garage where they belong.
If I find some more on the side of the road, I'll bring them to you. Okay.
Yeah, don't bother.
These are cross-country skis, by the way.
Well, I thought they looked kind of long and thin, so that would definitely explain that.
I was thinking, well, I could cut them and turn them into shelves to have here on the pallets, and I thought, no, I think they look better as whole skis.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's a good point. All right, so yeah, that's kind of the quick tour around some of the swag that I keep in my office. Mostly stuff that just reminds me of adventures that I've had for various reasons. I guess that's kind of really the highlight for me.
I can spill the beans a little bit on Wits End Studio.
Yes,
since he's not here to defend himself. His studio is in his garage, and so it can get a little cold in the garage. It is an attached garage. But even so, it's a non-insulated door, so it can get cold there in the winter. However, you notice that you look at it and you go, well, it doesn't look like a garage. He's ingenious.
He is ingenious, yes.
He's developed, the background behind him is a board on a pulley system. So he, with just a couple of ropes, he can lower it behind him. And then when he's done, he brings it flat up to the ceiling.
It's pretty impressive, actually.
It really is. So, with a little bit of lighting and that background, you have no idea that he's in his garage unless he tells you.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty fantastic. And he's covered that backboard with a number of different interesting stickers and license plates and other memorabilia that has personal meaning to him.
Exactly. IHAM says it can be quite cold, as I believe he's been in his garage before.
Yes. There you go.
He does have a heater there sitting under his feet for the winter months. And that's why you often see Wits End in a hoodie for the podcast.
That is true, especially in the cooler months. Well, we were talking about swag and different things that we had in our office, and things that we've come across and through different means. And I had asked a question on the internets about folks, what kind of interesting swag have you found? and a couple of people we heard from. We heard from Christy Seymour. She said that her daughter found a little pink bunny. She was 2.5 and having fun while geocaching. So it was a very memorable piece of swag to have found. I thought that was a cute story. We also heard from upcoming guest for the show, well, and previous guest to the show, Helen from Landsharks. She said that they trade for geocaching signature items and have 2 containers full of them. Some are handcrafted and some are bought, but each is labeled and unique to someone. A couple of years ago, they were rooting through a very old cache and came upon White Bear's number 2 bear. Apparently, this fellow had numbered them all, and they were all unique. When in Utah, they had found a couple of handcrafted wood spindles or whorls made by Utah Gene. And so those were 2 particular pieces of swag that stood out to her. I thought that was interesting little stories.
I love it. Yeah. And it's important to have something that that is important to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keeps it interesting. Reminds you of fun adventures you've had while out geocaching.
And for many people, that's geocoins. They will buy a geocoin from every event or, whatever they've gone to. So, you have a collection of geocoins that mean something to you. And other people just love the shinies and will, buy them by the bookful. And then you go to the geocoin events, and that's a world I'm scared to get into.
I like geocoins. I like innovative and creative designs. I particularly like ones that I have earned through GeoTours.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I would be that intrigued to go to an actual geocoin event, like where they're buying and selling and trading and such. I don't know if I'm that much into them.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently that's quite a big deal. It's a geocoin fest, right?
Exactly. And when Geo Woodstock was in Seattle, there was a Midnight Madness geocoin something or another. And I peeked my head in there and said, okay, I signed the log, and then I got out of there quickly. But people came with, binders, like 2-inch binders, and you open it up, they're full of coins, and they had hundreds of these, it seemed. Okay, that might be
like that they're trading or selling or just for discovery.
I don't know. I think, yes, all that was going on. There's some that, of course, they won't trade. I would love to get my hands on, say, one of Mountain Bike's first series of coins. I know that's not going to happen, but it would be fun to, have that, just because of its history. But
yes,
am I willing to do that? I don't know. I'm not that much into coins. I rarely take them with me. I've got them all laid out here, and there's times like, oh, I'm going to an event. I should take a couple of coins so they can be discovered.
Yeah, I rarely remember to do that, but I do have a couple of trackable items that I will take to events every once in a while. For instance, the monkey, because it's kind of fun to do, and it is kitschy, but it's fun. I have a decent, I wouldn't say as extensive as yours, but I have a decent little collection of geo coins and such. But they're in boxes right now, just because I don't have a great place to display them and haven't taken the time to build a really nice display rack and such as you. So,
well, okay, a couple of birthdays ago, or maybe it was Father's Day, I what do you want? I want something to display my coins on. So my wife got me that, and it's sitting on top of an old chunk of 2x12. I needed something to lift it up, so I found a chunk of 2x12 and just put nails in that to hold the path tags on the front.
Nice.
So yeah, is it an extensive, display? No. It is a nice, properly finished wood coin rack, though.
Well, and it certainly is, speaking of path tags, it is fun when you find path tags in the wild. That's always really exciting when you find a path tag in a cache.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're putting out some of the 100th episode path tags still.
Yeah, those are gone too.
I've got one here, but I want to say last week there was a new entry that somebody found one in a cache.
Oh, cool!
And it's in your area, so it's your fault.
There you go. Was it from up in Alaska, or was it local down here?
Vancouver area.
Oh, okay.
You have to think,
Cool.
was it in
So I would
Alaska?
have
Yeah.
I would have dropped that off a long time ago then.
Mhm.
That's cool. Neat.
So I don't know if they found it recently or they just got around to logging it.
Could be. And I was randomly dropping those off in different places I visited. So I only dropped a few off, very few in the actual greater Vancouver area. Mostly I was dropping them off either up in Gold Country. When I went to Alaska, I dropped off the last few I had and then gave a couple away to some other folks on the cruise.
Well,
So, yeah.
this is the only one I have left.
And I have one left for myself as well.
Mhm.
So they're collector's items now, folks.
They won't be minted again.
Nope. But we're
Unless
throwing
we
some
go back
ideas
in time and
around.
do another 100th show.
There you go. We are throwing some ideas around about what we might do for.
Yes, I've
future
got that in
bathtubs.
process as well.
So there you go.
So,
Very cool.
you know what? We've got some great topics for the
after show.
We do.
and
do indeed.
let's go ahead and jump into. Well, let's finish up the official show, and then start
right.
the after show. Does that work for you?
Okay. That works perfectly for me. Thank you.
So, in order to do that, we want to thank you all for sticking with us tonight. It's a bit of nostalgia, but it was one of those things that people have asked for, and we're going to give you what you asked for. That's just the way we are on this show.
That's how we roll.
If you want to ask us anything else, where could our listeners find you, Land Monkey? Say, out on this world wide web of ours that's so large and so confusing.
It is large and confusing, and the easiest way to find us is to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, or Periscope at LandMonkeyGC. On Facebook, you can follow us under Team Land Monkey, and of course on YouTube, just search Land Monkey, and you will find our fun videos of our adventures. And our website is at landmonkey.blogspot.ca. And if you're looking for the missing host from this show, wondering what he's up to,
Because we are.
yeah, where the heck is that guy? Anyways, you can find Wits End on Twitter, Facebook, geocaching, Ello, and all those places at Wits End. And our Wits End US, right? Wits End US is
Wits End US on Google.com, on Google
okay.
Plus. But everywhere else, he's Wits End.
He's just
Apparently
Wits
somebody
End.
stole Wits End on Google Plus before he got there.
There you go. So it's WITZEND. You will find him on Twitter, Facebook, blah, blah, blah. How about yourself, Chris of the Northwest?
Well, if you go to Twitter, Facebook, Google Plus, ... you can find me at CachingNW. Now, you can always head on over to CachingNW.com/hosts and read about our bios and find all these links we just mentioned and probably a few others just because we threw those in.
Very cool. Yes, you can do that. You should do that. Go do that. But in the meantime, again, we want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. And remember that you can be part of the show if you call 253-693-TFTC, leave us a comment, ask a question, or send us a selfie from a 10-ton block of ice any time of the day or night. And of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingnw.com. And you can enter a contest by emailing us an answer to feedback@cachingnw.com. Also, your support helps to keep quality shows coming. So if you like this show, please click the Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website. And remember that this show is licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license, copyright 2016 by Chris of the Northwest Umfenauer.
You get me every time on that. Good night, folks. And stay tuned for
The after show.
Okay. We are clear.
All right.
Let's see. 3ham says, I see an old welding torch behind your right shoulder, Chris, on the top shelf. Is it white fuel powered? I can't reach it that way. I have no idea if it's white fuel powered. You can see the cobwebs on it if you look closely.
So it's spider powered.
So I don't know how it's powered. I know this is, this will pressurize it. In fact, it feels pressurized already. Hope there's nothing in it. No? Not gonna. I don't.
This could end poorly.
Yeah, this could go. Nothing's coming out.
All right.
I don't know what that is on the bottom.
That's probably where you put the fuel in.
Would you do it upside down?
Why not?
Yeah, you guess you'd have to. But it's one of those things I thought, that'll look good in my studio.
That's pretty cool piece of nostalgia there. Well, hey, also looking at the Q&A, we did get an answer to my question of where the giant block of ice is going to be. Die Monkey has said it's in downtown Seattle in Pioneer Square, the oldest part of town just north of the stadiums. So thank you very much, Die Monkey.
That's the Occidental Square area.
Occidental Plaza.
Yeah, I thought there it was, but I didn't know exactly. So I wasn't going to mention.
There you
Let's
go.
see. Three Hams goes, Chris of the Northwest, kind of like George of the Jungle. Yes, exactly.
We've been hearing that a lot. Yes. It's generally one of the first things people say when they hear Chris of the Northwest.
IHAM says that the garage is also Wits End's ham shack. And once again, the ingenious man he is, he's got all okay. It's a computer station, podcast booth, and a ham shack. If he tucks the keyboard away, he can roll his ham gear into place in that very same spot, use it, and then roll it back out of the way.
That's awesome.
It's incredible.
So I guess, I mean, I know very little about ham radio, but you wouldn't use your computer and your ham radio gear at the same time?
You can, but he's got it so that you're using your ham radio gear, you want it front and center. Oh, let's
Makes
see.
sense.
What did I see? Brylang says the pump pressurization thingamajig is indicative of wet gas.
Yeah, could be. Could be kerosene too, though, couldn't it?
It could be. I don't know. I look at that and go, that's cool. I have no idea how long ago it would have been used.
Yeah, it does make me think of, white gas powered camping gear. So
Right.
I can see where Bryling's coming from with that. Cool. What else we got?
Brylang says the logging of 30 Earth caches, it continues.
Yeah, I bet it does. Good for him. That's awesome. I hope there are some really cool ones. I'll have to talk to him about it at some point in time. I may have done some of the same ones.
Limax knew about Wits End Studio. Yes, I think he got to see some of the background there. Okay.
So much to choose from.
So much to choose from. Okay, let's let's continue with the torch.
Okay.
And then we'll move to Olympics. It's very, Olympic themed, including.
There you go. I like it.
Three Ham says, I helped my 80-year-old father-in-law run a garage sale. He had an identical torch and still had the liquid fuel in it.
Wow, that's cool.
I don't think I do. I shake it and there's nothing unless it's incredibly pressurized. Which point that could explode behind me at any moment.
That would make for an interesting show.
No. Yeah, people would love to watch it. Okay.
Get a lot of hits on YouTube.
Yeah. Watch a podcaster's head explode.
Literally, not figuratively, like normally happens.
Okay. Let's get into the Olympic statements.
Yeah, let's do that.
Wet Coaster says, didn't the loony in the ice start at the Salt Lake Olympics?
It's possible. I don't know.
Brylang says 2002 Winter Games, Salt Lake City. The ice makers that were hired for the hockey rink were Canadian. They secretly buried a loony at the very center of the rink. Canada won gold in men's and women's hockey that year.
That sounds familiar. All right. There you go. Thank you, Brylang. And Wet Coaster. Excellent. So there you go. Now you have the story. And that's the rest of the story. What you got?
So I'm looking through to see if there's any other Olympic things. So I have to ask if it's a Canadian tradition. At the Gadget Games, were there geocoins buried at the finish line?
There should have been. That might have helped me in the race that that I had.
Oh, that would have been funny. Depends on if he's using the radio gear for digital modes. That would use a computer. Speaking of Wits End, who's
okay, right.
Back to coins.
Jez?
Limax says, I haven't even activated all my coins. And many of these are not activated either. There's always a time I think, this is a good coin, but it doesn't have that sentimental value to me. If I ever got ambitious, I could give it to someone if I don't activate it. And one day you just may walk up to me and say, here, take a coin.
There you go.
Let's see. Limax says he uses FTAS. That's for the after show. I used to go to geocoin events back in 2005, 2006, when there were a lot less.
Right.
I'm assuming geocoins, because 2005, 2006, they were the same. I mean, pretty much the same number of days and everything. But I don't think that was a lot less.
Yeah, I think you figured out what he's getting at there.
Okay. Now, you've got a birthday coming up. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
And the 50th celebration actually started when IHAM turned 40.
Ah, okay.
That's GC1 Delta Delta Victor Bravo.
Nicely done.
Thank you. Have I shown you my cheat?
Yes, I have seen it.
On the wallpaper of my desktop, I have the phonetic alphabet down there, and I make sure all my browser windows are up just a bit from the bottom so I can read the phonetic alphabet at the bottom.
That is, folks, that is dedication to you.
But you know what? I'm going to learn this. There's no reason I shouldn't know my phonetic alphabet. So I just want to let you know, just for you hams, not necessarily eyes, but all the hams, I'm learning the phonetic alphabet.
The 3 hams?
Could be 3, could be eyes, could be Limaxes. One of the best parts of IHAM's 40th birthday celebration was the log from RxGal. And there's a link here.
Well, you know what? Don't read it out. Let's use it next week as a glow, if it is glow worthy.
Oh, I like that idea.
So we'll leave everybody in suspense and we'll read it out next week.
That's a good one. Okay. I just read it.
Decision made. There you go.
So, and I thought the birthday party started with Die Monkey. They started for us with Die Monkey. And Wits End was there, and he goes, well, I've got a birthday coming up. If you did something like this, that would be okay. Like, that's as much approval as I'm going to get.
Yep.
Yes, we're doing it.
Awesome.
Then after that, I was like, well, that was fun. I've got a birthday coming up. You could do that.
That's cool. That was a lot of fun.
So let's move to Pokemon Go in Des Moines Marina Park.
All right.
Oh, wait. Wet Coaster, different topic. Because I've noticed some Earth caches. On some of the Earth caches, there's been DNFs logged. How do you DNF an Earth cache?
Yeah.
I can understand DNT did not try.
Yeah. I guess it depends on your definition of DNF. I think if you're supposed to be making observations, and whatever geological feature it is you're supposed to observe, if the weather is so foul that you can't quite see it, maybe that would make it a DNF. I don't know. I get what he's getting at. I'm trying to act in defense of the people who log DNF on Earth caches. Honestly, I think probably most people who log a DNF on an Earth cache don't understand what they're supposed to be doing.
Right. So
But
did you see this week when some idiots knocked over a balancing rock? I can't even remember where, in one of our state parks. And I'm thinking, well, there, now you can DNF an Earth cache because that may not be there anymore.
That's classic.
And they have it on video.
They videotaped themselves.
No, they were videotaped somewhere else.
Oh. Idiots.
Yes, exactly.
That's
It
unfortunate.
took thousands of years to get it there.
That's unfortunate. I did see, speaking of vandalism of natural areas, I did also see
It's in Oregon.
Okay. One of my Facebook friends had posted photos, I think it was on Facebook anyways, of one of the really beautiful hiking areas that you can get to out here. I think it was out towards the Lions or somewhere like that, that some idiots had brought paint out there and just splashed paint around on the rocks. I'm like, are you kidding me? What is wrong with people? But anyways,
I really don't know. Apparently, I'm reading the article. I heard about it and was disgusted and said, "You idiots!" Hang on, I got audio playing that I didn't ask for. Apparently, a drone operator sent in the footage of them doing it. He said, I kind of laughed at myself because I thought there's no way they could knock it over. But then I noticed it started wobbling, and I started to record as two guys managed to knock it down.
Why?
He said when he confronted the group, they said they knocked the rock over because a friend had broken a leg on it. Basically told themselves it was a safety hazard, and they did the world and Oregon a favor.
Right. Yeah. Oh, thank you, guys. You're such wonderful human beings. Maybe their friend shouldn't have climbed it.
Probably kicked it. Serves them right. Let's see. Limax says we had vandals destroy memorial bricks in front of our Veterans Memorial building.
Classy.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm so glad to be in this world. Okay.
All right.
Pokemon Go. That's no
You were
better.
going to talk about Pokemon Go.
So Des Moines Marina Park's biggest issue with the Pogoers, that's the Pokemon goers, is that they're coming into the park in droves during closure hours. And that's true. So
yeah, that happens a lot with Pokemon Go.
Yeah. So the park, there's signs in there as we went there, please be done by 10 o'clock. That's reasonable. Yep. And apparently the police are going through, getting everybody out, locking the gates, and then people are coming back in. So
yeah, the community I live in, all the parks are officially closed at sundown. However, the geocachers respect that. Pokemon goers do not.
Well,
now, and again, that's a broad brush.
Yeah,
but
FTFers, I've gone. How did you find this at 10 at night in this park? Well, it was an FTF. That's not the point.
Yeah.
So, Die Monkey says, in regards to Pokemon Go in Des Moines, the city appointed committee is petitioning Niantic to remove the game functionality from the city, but so far the developers have not responded to the request. So they've actually asked the company, would you remove these Pokestops?
I bet you they're not the only city that's asked for that.
But I thought, yes, I agree. And there's individuals. Apparently I heard of a guy who's got a Pokestop or something in his backyard.
Oh, lovely.
He's getting people knocking on his door all the time. Hey, can we go in your backyard?
No.
But from what I've heard about Des Moines is the level of noise. Well, 250 people are going to bring a level of noise. When I was there, it seemed very peaceful and calm. Yes, you heard some people calling out, but that happens anywhere. And the other thing was they're bringing in so much trash. Well, trash in parks happened before Pokemon Go.
Yes.
That's nothing new. And the pictures I saw were that the trash cans were overflowing. So the people are trying to put the trash in the proper spot.
Yeah. Seems legit.
So I don't know. It's one of those things that I really think as it gets into the colder months, Pokemon Go is going to diminish dramatically. And, this will go away. When I was there were several signs. There was just one sign, actually. It was quite small, now that I think about it, that the city is thinking of adding paid parking to that marina. Like, well, if you've got 250 people coming and, all the spots are filled up, you're going to make some money.
Yeah.
Or will the people stop coming?
Well, no, the people won't stop coming. They'll probably try and find ways to pull into parking spots, do their Pokemoning from their car, or some way of not having to pay for parking, and that's just human nature.
MyMax says the plaza in front of our theater is open all the time. I've been down there with Pokemon goers at 2 a.m. But, if it's an open area, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, if it's an open area and it's in an urban setting and such, and it's a place where people at 2 a.m. can go, then fine.
But yeah,
it's probably safer.
Yeah, don't go into a park after it's closed. That's just rude.
Yeah. Or someone's backyard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Stay off private property.
What else you got?
Limax is going to Disneyland for his 50th.
Congratulations. That'll be fun.
Yeah. You let him know it's your 50th. You get stuff.
Cool.
I don't remember.
I like stuff.
Yeah. Also says his last #geocaching road trip will be happening tomorrow for the season. So.
Ooh. Well, enjoy. Have a good #geocache road trip.
Yeah.
Make sure to post some social media photos and or stories about your #geocaching road trip.
College of the Ozarks has banned Pokemon Go. You can say you banned it, but if the I want to say portals, if the Pokestops are still there, people will still come. How can you ban an electronic game?
Yeah. I don't know. I suppose if you think you see somebody playing, you can hassle them, have your security hassle them. But yeah, I mean,
you can't, look at people who say, no, there's no geocaching here. And there's not, somebody doesn't know that. They'll go hide a geocache in that area without permission. You can't really stop it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the city of Des Moines was thinking of banning Pokemon Go altogether. But again, it's not practical. It's like saying,
I don't know how you enforce that. Yeah. I don't know how you enforce that.
So, okay. I think that's it, folks.
All right.
Thanks for sticking with it. Oh, it's 10:30. We went long.
Wow, we did.
Folks, go get some sleep. We need to we need to as well. And we will see you next week. Thanks again.
Have a good night.